What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. I know today's update is coming out a little bit later than usual. As you guys know, I have been traveling, so make sure you turn on those bell notifications. The schedule might be a little bit different for the next week, but I do want to talk about what is going on with Bitcoin, what is happening in stocks right now. It is Monday. We have had some moves on the chart, although it is sort of starting to stall out a bit. Is this the end of the big move, or do we have more potential to the upside? Well, today's video is going to be super quick. The Wi-Fi here totally sucks, but that being said, I didn't want to leave you guys in the dark. I want to let you know exactly what we're looking at right now and something very specifically that we need to pay attention to, because the last two times that this happened, it did send a massive signal to us. So we're going to hop in right now. If this sounds good to you, if you guys don't mind these super short updates, even when I'm traveling, just let me know, guys, and let's hop in. Let's have a look. So having a look right here, there's something very obvious happening with Bitcoin. You can see we have this move, consolidation, pump to the upside, consolidation, move again to the upside, longer consolidation. You could even say this was some form of a bull flag, right? Pump again, and it looks like we are consolidating again. But the question is, how long can we continue this uptrend before Bitcoin gets to an absolutely parabolic move? Now, again, I have to point out the Brave new coin liquid index for Bitcoin, which remember is exactly 1 day behind. You could see again the significance of these levels, right? We had this pivot right here. Look what Bitcoin does. Tries to break through, tries to break through, tries to break through, eventually, boom. And what did we do again yesterday? You can see right here. Here's that pivot level right here at around that sort of, what's the level around? 22,755. And look at that. We try to break through, we close on it. And again, we get rejected, but then fast forward to today and boom, we have that confirmation. We have broken above this downtrend. There's no way that you can slice this or dice this and say that we have absolutely not broken this trend. This is an absolute trend confirmation, but the problem is it's only been confirmed on one candle. So what you really want to see is this candle that we have right here also close above. In fact, although a lot of people probably wouldn't want to see this happen, but actually having this come down to this level, reconfirm this as support, and then move to the upside would actually be even more positive for Bitcoin. And if we do retest that level, that would be another amazing opportunity for us to enter along. And again, if you guys do want to learn how to trade, make sure you watch the tutorial popping up right here above. But what's interesting is that we still didn't close the CME futures gap. Now, this is a little bit worrisome potentially, which still makes me think that we may head back down here just to close this gap. But the question is, are we going to end up coming up here, and closing this $28,700 gap first? Well, that is a possibility, but you could see the significance also of this pivot level right here, right at around this sort of $24,300 level. This would be the next level for us to tackle. So it wouldn't be impossible for us to come down here, come down, retest this as support, close the CME futures gap right here, and that level could take us down to about 19,950 roughly. Of course, I'm just sort of doing this, off the top of my head. It could be anywhere around that number, and see something come down here, close that, and then head up to the next level. That would be one possibility. Another possibility is we come up here first and then we head down here, right? Those are all possibilities right now. We're still sort of in that no man's land, right? We still haven't gotten above that 200 weekly moving average, which I've talked about. But what you can see is that we did have this resistance right here. It actually flipped as support. But look at how amazing this chart has actually lined up. Look at these two levels that we got these wicks on the 4 hour, right? Here was one wick and here was the second wick. And if I take the drawing off, where does that line up again? Well, it lines up perfectly with this heart line right here. So you can see what we're doing is we're basically moving these levels up, right? This was the first level. We broke above it. Now we're at the heart line, right? Trying to break above that again. And potentially, if we can hold above the $22,784 level, then again, I cannot go against the fact that we are in a potential trend shift and Bitcoin is continuing to the upside. Now, of course, there are some major warnings, right? There are some major levels we have to pay attention to. We obviously had, this wick that we had right here during the Terra Luna crash. But, most exchanges would agree that that was roughly around here. It didn't get as low actually on the BitGet chart, so this is probably not the greatest chart for me to be showing as far as this is concerned. But you can see over here that after we have this consolidation here, we move up to the next level, right? So you got pivot high, consolidation, pivot high, right? Consolidation. And again, here's our next level to meet. And that is where I think that it would be very interesting to see if Bitcoin can move, because that is a very psychological level. In fact, arguably, that was sort of where the bad news of the crypto contagion really started to spread at around that $25,500 level. I would start getting a little bit cautious only because this is a very overextended move right now. And of course, the biggest concern that we've had is this potential, it's potential because it has not happened yet, potential death cross that could happen. Now remember, each one of these bars that we're seeing right here represents one entire week, right? So you could see that, it would take maybe 1, 2, could take even 3 weeks to a month potentially to get this death cross. So this isn't anything that we have to worry about happening immediately. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but we do need to pay attention at least, within the next 3 weeks to a month, whether or not we're going to have a fake out like we had way back here, right? Where it looked like we were going to have the death cross, but we didn't end up having it. Bitcoin was able to pump enough to actually move this lower average above. And the fact that these two lines never crossed right here was very good for Bitcoin. So that's kind of what we're hoping for, except this time they are a lot closer than we have seen them in the past. And of course, guys, the ultimate level, this 200 weekly, we have still not broken it yet. And to break that level, Bitcoin has to get above 24,740 and hold above that level minimally for a week. But of course, you can have fake outs like we had back here. So, I'm not trying to not be bullish, nothing like that. I don't want you guys to take these type of videos the wrong way. I just want you to be very realistic about whether or not we could say, okay, 100% we are full back in a bull run, because truthfully, we are not truthfully back in a bull run just yet, not according to the Bitcoin chart. But again, if we just pay attention to the simple 200 on the daily, as long as we can hold above this level, which is, obviously it's going to start, like I said, it's going to start curving up over time, right? We're going to start seeing it do something like this. It's going to start moving up. That level is sitting at around 19,580. So it wouldn't be impossible to come down here, right? Say this, this line is, I don't know, coming up somewhere like that. Come down here, we close the CME futures gap, we get the nice retest, and we bounce off of it, right? That is a very healthy chart. Just be careful, because as you can see back here, what happened when we pumped too fast, too hard, right? And I just want to point this out. Back here in April of 2019, we had this massive pump for Bitcoin. We never came down and retested, right? We never had that confirmation. We just kept going and going and going. And yes, it was an amazing run. There was lots of money to be made, and you could definitely trade this for sure. But what ended up happening? Zoom out. Look at this, guys. Bitcoin ended up coming all the way back down again. Now, I know this was the COVID crash, so just kind of scribble that out, right? But if we do go back, you can see that Bitcoin was starting to form, this kind of a sort of a bottom right here at around the $7,500 level. So yeah, okay, maybe we did have that COVID crash, but nevertheless, we came up and, then we kind of came back down and consolidated again. We weren't really ready to go full on parabolic just yet. So just be careful of big moves happening really fast in a very short period of time, because what you could end up having is something like this. Everybody gets excited. We get all the way back up to, I don't know, 45 or some crazy number. And then the bear market just continues for another year and a half, right? We do something like we did here. So that's the only thing I'm saying, is you just don't want to pump too hard, too fast. But what we are seeing, and this is something pretty interesting, is the stablecoin supply ratio, right? So what this is showing is that there is sort of confidence in the Bitcoin and even Ethereum price potentially as being involved in that as an asset. But if you see these two lines right here, this purple line right here and this lower one right here, these are the upper and lower Bollinger Bands. And I just want to show you what happens when we tend to break above this top Bollinger Band. You can see right here, we broke above it. And even though Bitcoin did run for a little bit more, this was starting to near the top of that move, right? We were starting to see enough of that exuberance. If we come over here, when's the next time that we broke above it? You can see right here, we broke back above the top range. And if I go up, what are we doing? Let me zoom out a bit, okay? So here it is right here. Okay, so yeah, we still had a lot more run, but keep in mind that was starting to warn us that, this is getting to the mid to potential later part of the move, right? We're around 50 to 75%. And I know this is going to be really hard to see because keep in mind, this is denoted in Bitcoin. So that's why it just keeps going down and down and down and down. But if I zoom in right here, you can see, and I actually can't even zoom in on this anymore, but we are just barely starting to break above the Bollinger Bands again. So this doesn't mean that the move is over, but it does mean that we could be around that 50 to 75% part of the move. And you may be looking for somewhat of a correction at some point. again, the bullish situation is that if you do take this target of the falling wedge breakout, that does put us somewhere back up into potentially the $50,000 range for Bitcoin. But that may, obviously that could take months to happen. It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. Interesting enough, the DXY is actually continuing to fall right here off of this what do you call it, death cross that we had right here. And moving over, the one thing again that I have to say we must keep our eyes on is this SPX. Again, the S&P 500 keeps getting held down by this resistance right here, right here, right here, 2 times right here. And look at this move today. Look at what we did, guys. Look at that move. Look at that move. We broke out. And where did we close? Exactly below it, right? We've closed exactly below it. So that's something that we absolutely have to pay attention to right now. And it is very interesting to see this, how we have actually held below that move on the daily. And the interesting thing too is if we just go ahead and we look at the futures for the S&P. So this is the futures chart, right? This actually runs overnight. Look at this, guys. Look at where that stopped. That stopped exactly at the line right there and has pulled back, right? So keep a very close eye on this. We will be monitoring this as the week goes on. Make sure you guys get subscribed, and I will try my best to get these videos out as soon as possible, as many times as I possibly have to, especially during these really super exciting times. So like I said, guys, super quick update. I didn't really want to go crazy today. Not too much has changed, but there is still a few things we do need to pay attention to. We don't want to FOMO in, right? We don't want to make any mistakes, especially if we start trading emotionally. You don't want to trade emotionally specifically. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Make sure you get subscribed, turn on the notifications. I will continue to post these updates as frequently as I possibly can. Tomorrow might be a bit of a difficult day, but I do have a special treat for you guys. It's something a little bit different if you do want to check out tomorrow's video. That being said, thank you again for coming back to the channel. We will continue to monitor this every single day. And of course, if you do appreciate the shorter videos, thanks again. Slap a like. Check this video popping up right here, right now. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.